Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of learning about Google Drive. Today we will be learning about Google Docs and sharing files on Google Drive. There are two ways to create a new Google Doc. The first way is to click on the new button, and if you scroll down you'll see Google Docs. Make sure you scroll over and you'll see two options: to create a blank document or to create a new document from a template. The other way is to right click an blank area, and it'll bring up a menu. Go to Google Docs again and scroll over to the little arrow, and you'll see the same two options: to create a blank document or from a template. So let's create a blank document and I'll show you the user interface. As you can see, this is the user interface for Google Docs. Before I say anything, I want you to know that any changes that you make to your Google Docs, it will be automatically saved. So you don't have to go to File and Save. Okay, it will automatically save for you in your Google Drive. So at the top, you will see the title, and you can click it to rename the title if you want, which I recommend you do because right now it's an untitled document. Right below your title is the tabs, right? So there's a File tab, Edit, View, Insert, Format, Tools, Add-ons, and the Help tab, right? Or Menus. It'll bring up more options for you. Now, right below the tabs are some options. There's undo and redo. There's a print option. Okay, and then there's a spelling and grammar check option. And then there's the paint and the paint format. And I will show you how that works later. There's the view option and the styles, and I will show you that later as well. And then the font, and you can change the font right here. And then the font size. And if you go over, these are the more common tools that everybody uses, like bold, italic, underline, the font color or the text color. And if you want to highlight your text, insert. There's an insert button right here, and I will show you how that works. There's also an insert image. I'm sorry, this is an insert link, and this is the insert image. This is the comment, but I will show you that later as well. Right, as you can see right now, add comment is grayed out, and you can't click it, right, because we don't have any text. Uh, Next is the alignment, left, right, middle alignment. Okay, and line spacing if you want double space or single space. Okay, you'll hear that. Next is if you want to bullet or to number your items in Google Docs. Okay, so these two. And if you go to the right of that is the indent. Okay, increase or decrease indent, and then clear formatting. And what this button does is if you make any formatting changes, like for example, you change the color and you don't want to, you want to undo that, later on, you can clear the formatting right here. There are more tools available to you than what you see on the toolbar here. If you go to each tab or menu, you'll see more options, edit, view, insert. There are more options here and more tools for you to use. If you go under formatting, there are more options to format than just what you see on your toolbar. So we will play with that as we go along during the course. Let's do some formatting and editing in Google Docs. So I already made a document, so let's go to it and I will show you. I'm just gonna double click on the document that I made already. And This is a story that I copied from the internet. It's called the Aesop for Children. So let's give this document a title. So let's go up here to the title. Let's click it, and it looks like it already did it, right? So I'm gonna. This is already a file that's in my drive, so I'm just gonna name it a little bit different, Aesop, and hit enter. So that will be the title for this document. So first, let's make this first sentence the title of my document. Okay, I'm going to highlight it. Okay, and I'm going to make it a title. There's a couple ways to make it a title. The first is to edit the style, and the styles is right here. So you can click it and choose title. Okay, and what styles does is that it gives you the option to make it easier for people to navigate your document. So select the sentence, and you can change the font size and the font type. So let's change the font to be bigger, and let's make that bold, and we can put it in the middle. Let's middle align it, okay, or center align, and that is our title. Let me undo that. And to undo that, I could go to the undo button right here, or I could Control Z. Same for Microsoft Word. So let's undo the changes. The second way that you can add a title or make this a title is to change the style. And it's the way that I prefer to do it. So I'm going to highlight this sentence. How I did that, I just double clicked to the left of that sentence, and it'll select the whole sentence for you. Go to the styles, and we'll change it to title. And if you can see, it made this a title. So it changed it, it made it bigger. If you look to the left over here, it added the title here. Okay, and then we'll come back to this part in a little bit. Now I could center align it if I want. Okay, let's say I want to make the title red, right? Or the text red. Let me select that text again. And if you go to text color, we could change it to red. So next, let's change some size. Let me change the size of these texts to be a little bit smaller, because this one only tells you about Aesop. So I'm going to make it 9. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. Uh, so next, let's there are 3 stories here. If you can see, the hare and the tortoise, the dog, and the ant and the dove. So the title of this story is here. Let me make this. So I'm not going to make this a title. I'm going to make this a heading. Okay. To do that, go to the styles menu and change it to heading. I'm going to choose heading 1. And if you can see, it made this a heading. And if you look to the left of that, it added the heading over here. And this is just a way for us to organize our title and headings. So it will be easier for us to navigate. Let's do a highlight of the text. So I'm going to highlight the text of this story. I'm going to choose the story, and I'm going to make it a highlight. Okay, and let's highlight it green. And as you can see, I highlighted the text green. Let's go down to the next story, the dog in his reflection. Let's change the title of the next story, and I'm going to change it to a heading as well. So let's go to styles, change it to heading 1, and let's change the font of this story. So let's select this story and let's go to font. Here you can click anywhere in this box, and let's change it to Carrier New. And then I'm gonna change the font color to, let's say, to a different color. So let me highlight it again, and I'm going to change the font color, so the text color. I'm going to change it to purple or magenta, and there it is. So let's go to the last story, the ant and the dove. Let's make this a heading as well. So styles, heading 1. And as you can see, the headings are over here to the left as well. And then let's change the font of this story as well. Let's change it to this font. Okay, and let's make this center align. I'm gonna select it again, and I'm gonna center align this, and it's gonna put everything in the center. Now, the reason why we want to create a title and heading for our document is that it will make it easier for people to navigate your document. And let me show you that. So let's say I'm at the end of my document and I want to go back to the top to my title. I could just go back to my headings over here and click the title, and that will take us to the title. Okay, and if you click on each heading, it'll take you to each story, right, or wherever that story is in your document. And this is a short document, so there's not much, but if you had a 10-page long story, you can create headings so it'll be easier for people to navigate. Another great thing about headings is that if you make changes to one of the heading, you can make changes to all the other headings. So let's make some changes to the heading. Let's say I want to make this the headings bigger, or the title, right, of each story. Let me change the font to be 36, and then I'm gonna change the font as well. Let me change it to this font. And so what I can do is I can apply that change to all the other headings. And how you do that is after you make your changes, go to styles, and we applied headings 1, right? So let's update each heading. Let's see. Let's update. And as you can see, all the other headings have changed too. And that's how you update and how you make changes to headings. Let's insert an image into this document. But before we do that, let's make sure we know where we want to put this image. Okay. So for example, if I click right here, and you will see my blinking text cursor. If I insert right now, if I go to insert image, the image will be inserted right here, right? If I click right up here before the title, and you will see my blinking cursor there. If I go to insert image and I choose an image, the image will be inserted right there. Okay, so always make sure you know where you want to insert the image. So I want to insert the image right here in the first before the first story. I clicked right here, so you'll see my blinking cursor, and I'm going to go to insert image, this tool right here, and I'm going to have a couple of options. I could insert an image from my computer. I could insert it from an image from the web to search the web for it, or if I have an image already in my drive, my Google Drive, I could insert it from there. So for this demonstration, I have already downloaded a picture from the internet uh, to my computer. So I'm going to upload from my computer, right? So let me select this option, and I already have navigated to this folder where my picture is. I'm going to choose the picture of the tortoise and the hare. I'm going to choose open, and my picture has been inserted. So it's a little too big. I'm going to select the picture, and I'm going to drag. So click and drag from this from the corner, right? And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And that is how you insert an image. Now, if you look, it has this space right here. Okay, and what we can do to fill that space is, let me select my image again. And if you select it, you'll see these little options that pop up down here. Okay, and the options is inline, wrap text, or break text. Okay, or more image options, like if you want to rotate it. Okay, but what I want to do is wrap text. So let me select that, and you can see what happens. And as you can see, it wrapped the text around the image. And now let me click out of it, and you can see the text is wrapped around that image. Let's go down to the second story, and I want to add line spacing to the second story so it will be easier to read. I'm going to select the text of the second story, and I'm going to add some line spacing. So let's go to line spacing, and let's do double. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and if you look, it has added double space to each line, and this will make it easier to read. Let me go over the paint format tool, and this tool that looks like a paint roller, and it functions the same way as the one in Microsoft Word. And how to use that is, let's say I want to make changes to this word dove, and I want to make that word a little bit bigger, and I want to change the font to another font. Let me choose impact, and let's say I want to change the color as well of the text. Let me make it red. Now, to use the paint format, you want to highlight the changes to any text that you want, and you're going to you can one click, or you can double click it. If you one click, it will only do one change, but let's double click it because there's a couple of words. So I'm going to double click the paint format, and if you look, it's blue now. So let's find the word dove, and let's make changes to that. And all you need to do is highlight the word to make changes. So I'm going to highlight dove, and if you can see, it has used the same format as the first word that I changed, right? And let's find the last word dove, and let's make changes to that. So just find it and highlight it, and it'll make the changes to it. And that's how you use paint format. The last tool that I'm going to show you is the spelling and grammar check. So it is up here next to the paint format tool. I'm going to click spelling and grammar check to check for any mistakes in my document. So if you click it on the top right hand side, Google will give you suggestions to correct any spelling errors or any grammar mistakes that you have in your document. And you can choose to accept the changes, or you can ignore it. So that is how you use the spelling and grammar. Next, I want to show you how to share your documents with other people. The first way is if you have your document open, on the top right hand side, you'll see this share button, and you can click that to share with people. So let's click it, and it will bring a pop-up menu. Make sure you know the person's email address. Uh, so let me share it with Mrs. Vang. Once you type in the email address, the second option that you should do or that you should choose is if you want that person to be a viewer, a commenter, or an editor. Okay, and if you choose the viewer option, that person can only view and download the document. If you choose commenter, that person can only comment on your document. And if you want that person to make changes to that document, you can choose editor. So make sure you understand these three items before you share your document. Because if you don't want anybody to make changes, make sure you choose viewer or commenter so that they can't make any edits to your document. And after you're done, you can choose send right here, and they'll share that document with that other person. So let me close this document. And the other way to share your document is if you are in your Drive view, and it's this file right here, you can right click this file and you can go to share, and it will bring up the same window earlier when you clicked share, and you can just type the person's email address here, and then you can choose your option. Okay. One note before I continue: if you look down at the bottom here, it says get link. If you choose to share your file that way, okay, so if you copy this link and then you paste it to your email uh, and you send that to another person, what that means is that that person can view your document, but also that person can share that link with other people, and now other people can look at your files too or your document. So make sure you, if you don't want other people to be sharing your document, do not use this get link. Okay? And if you don't want people to download your file, okay, when you're in this window, you'll see the settings gear right here. If you click the settings gear, you can choose if people can download. So if you look at this option, viewers and commenters can see the option to download, print, and copy. So if you don't want people to be downloading your document, uncheck that. Okay. Let me show you what it looks like if someone has shared a file with you. If you open your email, you'll see this message that someone has shared a file with you, and then you can click open in docs to look at that file. So let me click that file and we'll see what it is. I have opened the file that has been shared with me, and this is what it looks like. So that person who shared with me has only allowed me to comment. So that means I cannot really make any changes. If I add something here, this is only a suggestion, okay? So it doesn't change anything for the document. It's only suggesting that that person make a change here, or if you add a comment, right? So let's say this title isn't good. I could mouse over to the right and add a comment, and I can say not a good title. Okay. and click comment. And so when I go back to my other account, I will see that this person has made these uh, suggestions or comments on my document. So that will be all for part two of Google Drive. Make sure you join me in class so I can answer any questions and go more in depth in some of these options in Google Drive and Google Docs.